Welcome back, everyone, to the 2021 Bowling Promotion Tour, sponsored by PWBA-PBA. We're here for the third of four matches in our opening stepladder, and today's match features Team USA's Amy and Christopher Viale facing the Swedish team of NORA Johansson and Carl Eklund, who qualified in the number 2 position. The winner of this match moves on to bowl our number 1 seed, the pro team of DARIA, PAJAK, and MCNIEL for the title. Once again, we're here at Silverbowl in Beaucouze, France, about 200 miles northwest of Paris. I'm Bruce Hall, and I'll be your commentator for the international version of these matches. Let's kick things off with Amy Viale on this left lane. I should say that the two winning scores so far in this stepladder have come from the right lane, and that would be England defeating France 268 to 191, and there's a wide right shot by Amy. England beating France in convincing fashion, and the USA triumphing over England 212 to 186 once again on the right lane. So let's see how the USA copes with this left lane versus this very powerful Swedish team. And here's Amy on the 1-2-4-8 conversion. She needs to move her feet right a little bit and go straight up at that spare. And no problem there for Amy converting the spare, and the USA will post that spare in the first frame. Now let's get our first look at this Swedish team, and wait till you see the power on these two young players. Here's NORA Johansson, a two-hander. You don't see that many female two-handers, but look at the power that she's able to generate. And look at that, right over the third arrow. Powerful ball turning into the pocket and tripping the 4-pin for the opening strike for the Swedish team. Look at that, right over maybe 14 board or so. And right up to the pocket, tripped that 4. Great shot there. And here's our first look at Carl Eklund. And even though he's a right-hander with two hands, we're going to have to call his game as a left-hander, and you'll see why. Look at that over the 12th board on the left side, and he gets the trip 6 but can't kick out the 10, a little bit high in the pocket, and that's going to be a 9 count, leaving a 10 pin for this team. And look at the urethane bowling ball that he's throwing. You can actually see how the oil amasses on the ball as it goes down the lane, and that's the infamous purple hammer ball. And look at this cross lane coverage of the 10 pin. That's the big wide swing that you see there, and good spare there by Carl. And here's Christopher Viale. Amy and Christopher from the Massachusetts area of the U.S., not far from Boston. And Christopher back using the Zen. It's the more powerful of the two balls he's shown so far. Get that over the third arrow, but he gets some hook, and unfortunately gets a bad break, leaving the 4-7-10 split. And this is a very, very difficult conversion, and likely is going to put the USA team down here in the early going. Once again, this is the third of 4 stepladder matches we'll be showing you, and this is the third of 22 matches we'll be bringing you as part of this series. You can see the entire schedule at bowlingpromotiontour.com. And Christopher takes a shot at the spare, but misses left, takes out only 1 pin, leaving them with 25 in the second, and already at a 15-pin deficit to the Swedish team. Let's see how Amy can do here. She missed right in her first shot, and once she got lined up around the second arrow, she started really scoring on the other lane, and fortunately misses wide right again, and that's just going to be the 1-2-4 this time. But she did move her feet to the left, but unfortunately loses the ball a little bit to the right. Can't get it to make the turn, and there's going to be the 1-2-4 conversion left for Amy. Be very interesting to see how this Swedish team continues to attack these lanes. And Amy, unfortunately, comes up with the chop, and that's going to leave the U.S. with a back-to-back opens and a wide open now for the Swedish team to jump ahead and take a commanding lead already in the early going here. Here's Nora Johansson. She's the European women's champion of the last championship held in Holland. And Carl was the European champion in team and in doubles. So some recent impressive accomplishments by these young players. Another beautiful shot over third arrow and slap that 10 out. Beautiful shot there by Nora Johansson. And look at the rev she's getting on that ball. That's got to be in the 400 maybe RPM, maybe a little bit more. That's some serious power on that bowling ball. And very impressive results. Let's see how Carl can do crossing. Now he got that one way out and comes back for a perfect strike. And the Swedish team jumping on those back-to-back opens. Notice that's out crossed about the second, between the second and third arrow, but he got it further to the left. And so didn't come up as high. Perfect in the pocket again. We have to call Carl as if he were a left-hander. And here's Christopher trying to get back on track here. Probably make a move left with his feet since he came up a little high last time. And he does so and comes up into the pocket. Perfect strike. Great recovery there for the USA team. And let's see. And look at the power Christopher generates. That's about a 2-board move to the left with his feet, and that crossed about the 17 board. So we saw that great adjustment there by Christopher. Now let's see if Amy can build on Christopher's strike, and looks like this is going to hit the pocket. Great shot. Key strike there for the USA team to stay in this match. And beautiful shot there by Amy. Fortunately, still a 40-plus pin lead for the Swedish team. And let's see how Nora responds to the double posted by the U.S. team. Shout out to Bruno Bedone, the producer of these matches, does a wonderful job coordinating this competition. And Nora, oh, no doubt about that one. Right down the pike. A little bit straighter up the lane, but look at the power right down that oil line around 15 and dead flush in the pocket. This is a 41-foot oil pattern. There is more oil in the middle than the outside. You can see some dry boards helping the ball get back to the pocket if you miss outside a little bit. And now let's see what Carl does. Gets that around, and look at him. Ooh, that's a weak 7. Very unusual to call a weak 7 for a right-hander, but again, we have to really treat Carl as a left-hander. And pretty good power on that shot, but unfortunately the 4-pin drops in the channel, does not kick out the 7-pin. So let's see how Carl chooses to shoot at the 7-pin. It is and now he takes this conventional forward turn and turns it into the 7-pin. He's got the best of both worlds going there. He uses the left-hand part of the lane, which usually doesn't have as much traffic, so if there's an easier pattern, that's an advantage. And when he shoots that left side spare, definitely an advantage to have that regular forward roll 2-hander. So Carl taking the best of both sides here. Now, can the U.S. strike again? And Christopher rips through that one. Comes up a little bit high and leaves a disappointing 4-pin. And that's going to give them now a 36-pin deficit now for the U.S. team. And Christopher got through this ball very well. It just reads a little bit early coming up high for that 4-pin. And should be a fairly straightforward conversion here for Christopher. And no problem on the 4-pin there. Unfortunately, the deficit still exists of 36 now for the USA team. Now let's see if Amy can get the U.S. back on track. This is, of course, a Baker format, alternating shots. And very nice shot there by Amy over the second arrow. Beautiful strike. Again, back-to-back for Amy. She's recovered nicely from those first two shots that went wide. And the last two, she's thrown perfectly up the second arrow and right to the pocket for perfect flush strikes. Beautiful shot there. Now let's see what Nora can do. She is perfect so far, having struck in the first, third, and fifth frames. Can she repeat the feat here in the seventh? And another good shot out, third arrow, ringing 10. Pretty good shot. Unfortunately, does not get the break. And that will just cut into the lead by one. But most importantly for the U.S., not a strike. So a chance for the U.S. now to close the gap here in the next couple of frames. And let's see how Nora chooses. Looks like she's switching to a plastic ball, or certainly a weaker ball there. She's going to go cross lane at this 10 pin. Very intent on that shot. Gives it the spin. Perfect conversion. Beautiful shot there by Nora. And now let's see if Carl can set them up in the eighth frame. Later in the match, they do still enjoy a 35 pin advantage. Can Carl set them up for the 9th and 10th? And that's right over the 12 board. Turns it back. Perfect strike. Boy, what a... I'd like to measure the RPMs on this young man. I think between the two of them, they have two of the most powerful balls we've seen in this series. So perfect shot there. Almost a must strike here for Christopher. U.S. can go out for 223. And the Swedish team pacing at 218. So we definitely still have a match. That's got to get back. And ringing 10 for the U.S. team. Terrible break for Christopher. He threw it well. Finally got it to the right a little bit. And that's deeper over the fourth arrow. Just doesn't quite make the corner and leaves that 10 pin. And now the U.S. team is going to need some help from Sweden because their max score just went down to 203. And again, the Swedish team pacing at 218. And Christopher, unfortunately, flags that spare. And now the Swedish team is almost in a victory lap. Let's give the U.S. team out for 181. And the U.S. and the Swedish team is going to be able to cover that score in the 9th, even if they open. So this match essentially over at this point. And another beautiful shot. That's the third strike in a row by Amy. And she really recovered from those first couple of frames. And once again, right over the 7 or 8 board, down by the track. And turn it up into the pocket. And good shot there. And unfortunately, we have another winning team on the right lane and losing team on the left lane. It will be very interesting to see what happens in this championship match, which will be coming up. DARIA, PAJAK, and MCNIEL will be bowling this powerful Swedish team of Nora Johansson and Carl Eklund. And that's another beautiful strike for Nora and a double for the Swedish team. Look at the strength and the power and the speed. Boy, she's got it all going on, and a wonderful look here. Here's a different ball by Carl. They know they have it locked up. This is certainly a practice shot, and I think a more powerful ball. Wow, didn't quite make the corner. That got to the mid lane and accelerated, so that's not the reaction he was looking for. He looked for that ball to slow down and make its turn right about where that other ball just kept going. So, and there's the reaction you're looking for. Comes back and makes the rail split very nicely. And pacing to 224 now is the Swedish team. And the crowd getting behind him on the slash shot. And there's a normal shot for a Brooklyn for Carl. So he's got all the tools, this young man. And indeed, 224 for the Swedish team. And let's see if Christopher can close it out here with a double. He's been all around the pocket, frustrated by 4 pins and 10 pins. And there's the beautiful strike there that he was looking for the whole time. And once again, deep right around the 17 board there, but got a really good handful of that one. And Vortex is the rack. Let's see what he can do here. And if you'd hit that subscribe button on this YouTube channel, you can be alerted to new videos as they're posted. We post every 2 or 3 days. And really looking forward to the title match here, which will be Nora Johansson and Carl Eklund of the Swedish team taking on DARIA, PAJAK, and MCNIEL in the title match of this opening stepladder. That will be our 4th of 22 matches. Once again, you can see the entire schedule at bowlingpromotiontour.com. And Christopher, with his left hand, picks up the 10-pin. Beautiful shot there, Christopher. And once again, everyone, thanks for watching, and we will see you back here in just a few days for this title match. Take care, everyone.